next. The question we asked today, it's a baseball topic question, and it fits because why? Aaron Judge is coming back into the Yankees lineup tonight, taking on the Texas Rangers. The question was posed, who will win the American League MVP? There's three choices. One is Aaron Judge. Two is Cal Raleigh. Three is insert here of who you think is going to win MVP. The way I voted, I actually think I'm getting some value here still on Aaron Judge, even though he's the favorite once again over Cal Raleigh. But the people have spoken, Joe. Overwhelmingly, close to 60% say it's Cal Raleigh, Donnie. You're wrong. It's not Aaron Judge. So technically, I'm fading the public, Joe. How about you?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, this is that dreaded curse, and it feels like we see it every year. Guys that enter the home run derby who are having great, first halves of the season, all of a sudden come out of the home run derby and their swing is different. Everything has changed a little bit. But more importantly, and he'll figure it out, Cal Raleigh, but he certainly doesn't look like the same guy prior to the home run derby. But the Aaron Judge situation, we're talking about a guy that we were 3 months ago, 4 months ago, saying just name the award after him. That's it. Like, what are we doing here at this price? Now look at the price you can get him at and look at the narrative around him. If the Yankees, if he comes back and he's the catalyst for the Yankees, who always seem to lose 12 and win 15 in a row, you ain't getting him at that price anymore, Donnie. It's just not happening. So I think Aaron Judge, once again, is the front runner because the Yankees apparently can't win without him. So if they do win when he gets back, there's your MVP.
Aaron Judge, 342 on the season, 37 bombs, 85 RBI, and a 1.160 OPS. Absolutely killing it. And also, you had a chance for Cal Raleigh to sort of extend himself and run away with it. Not only didn't he do that, Cal Raleigh's now an underdog, and Judge hasn't played in a week and a half. That's hard to do. Why? Because you're striking out a lot, not getting a lot of base hits. And what do the people want? They want home runs. But as we stated from that first half of the season, boy, it's hard to hit a ton of home runs in Seattle, and maybe we're starting to run in a little bit of that slump here. But Aaron Judge right now is the favorite at a minus 220 price. Other guys that we talked about in that AL MVP race, Judge, Raleigh, Skubal, Ramirez, and Kurtz. I don't think there's going to be anybody else that creeps into this. It will be Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh down the stretch as we go. Now, as the reason why we're talking a lot about Aaron Judge and the way this sets up for a big run for him to be the MVP and maybe rescue this New York Yankees season, they're going to have to do that tonight because Aaron Judge is expected to be in the lineup, 965, 966, and 805 start tonight from Texas. That's the Yankees with Will Warren on the mound taking on Nathan Eovaldi. This line overnight, Joe, by the way, minus 150 range is a favorite for Texas. The buybacks are here. They're coming in on the Yankees, who have dropped this line to a favorite for Texas, anywhere around minus 125 to minus 130, depending on where you're shopping at. The total, we do have 8s overnight, only 8.5 out there at DraftKings. The rest are seemingly at 8. Looks like a pitcher's duel tonight, but obviously talk to me about Aaron Judge coming back to this lineup, just giving them a boost, which is what they need.
Yeah, well, they need it in a big way with him. And I think Will Warren has been much better than some of his numbers show. He's just been a little bit unlucky, especially because, well, the defense has just not done him any favors over the last couple of months here. But, Eovaldi is a guy that I've had circled because I believe he's got a little bit of negative regression coming as well. I think he's given up way too many hard hit balls, too many barrels that aren't leaving the ballpark. And the Yankees, man, they need their captain, right? They need Judge in this lineup. It should be good enough for them to be able to get past this at plus money here tonight. So as much as I hate it, I think this is the spot to back the Yankees to get back on track with a W.
And be a great W to get it over Nathan Eovaldi. Take a look at Eovaldi over the past 45 days. He's actually 5-0 with 6 starts, Joe. 33 and 2/3 innings pitched, a 1.34 ERA coupled with a 3.26 xFIP number. If we slide it down to Will Warren, his last 41 and 2/3 innings pitched over the past 45 days, a 4.32 ERA and a 4.34 xFIP number. Every night it seems like, and again, the Yankees should have won last night. We told you, 3 of 15, I think it was, for runners in scoring position. They scored 5 runs. That should be good enough to win. The Yankees lineup, Grisham, Judge, Bellinger, Stanton, Chisholm, Rice, McMahon, Volpe, and Wells, every single one of those hitters, Joe, positive ISO power numbers, and outside of Austin Wells, same thing with the weighted on base percentages. Like, this team actually matches up really well. It's just a matter of what we're going to get from Nathan Eovaldi on the mound. Now, when we take a look and say, all right, well, how's Will Warren doing? Does struggle a little bit with lefties. Corey Seager's in that lineup, and also Rowdy Tellez with good numbers. But if we're just looking at 1 through 9s, the Yankees should be the better team tonight. It's just a matter of sometimes, Joe, that starting pitching just overpowering the other team, and Eovaldi can do that.
Yeah, he can do that too, but he also has got some regression coming his way. The Yankees can definitely put the barrel on the ball, and that ballpark is suddenly went from being an under ballpark, Donnie, to all of a sudden an over ballpark. Wouldn't shock me at all, too, if the Yankees clear their team total in this one.
Now, hold on with this. We understand how some price points happen here. I'm looking at Aaron Judge to hit a home run tonight. Like, his first game back, plus 320, plus 330, good pitcher. He's plus 190. Like, Eovaldi's a good pitcher. He's plus 190 first game back, seeing live pitching at this point. Because correct me if I'm wrong. I think Aaron Judge went to Trenton or whatever to have a rehab start. More baseball next. Let's handicap the Cardinals. Right back out of here on the early line. It's Donnie right side. It's Joe Ranieri at Sirius XM Channel 159 on the SportsGrid Network, your place to be. We love Major League Baseball. We love the handicap. And at the end of the show, more best bet winners here. Make sure you stay tuned. But in the meantime, we just talked about the New York Yankees and the Texas Rangers. Oh, boy, do the Yankees need a victory here. Well, don't look now. You know who else starts to need some victories? Those Chicago Cubs, who look like they were going to run away with the Central Division in the National League. No longer the case. Now it looks like the Brewers might run away from this. Game number 2, Cincinnati and Chicago. Zach Littell's on the mound going up against Shota Imanaga, the left-handed pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. 9:55, 9:56 on the rotation, an 8:05 start. How about this heavy favorite for the Cubs today? Opened up overnight around minus 180, still sitting at minus 180 at most shops here. A total, which opened up at 8. Still some 8s in the atmosphere, but 7.5s now starting to prevail. Lower totals here in Chicago means one thing. The wind isn't blowing out. But the Cincinnati Reds got the best of the Cubs yesterday. Do they get the best of the Cubs as a bigger dog today, Joe?
It wasn't. Lytle is going here, his first game for the Reds since coming over from the Cubs. And listen, big advantage here to Imanaga and the Cubs, I think, but not hitting. I mean, what else can you say here besides the fact that we just can't seem to get this Cubs offense when we think they're going to be or really have some advantages? They don't deliver here. Listen, I don't know that Cincinnati is going to rough up Imanaga here at all. And I think Zach Lytle is going to have some success early on in this lineup. I like the first 5 under, Donnie. I think we get a bit of a pitcher's battle early. And then, again, once these bullpens who have both been overworked get involved in this game, that's probably where it's going to be decided. But I'm going to go under 4 in the first 5 with these two pitchers.
See what wins out, right? Because take a look at Zach Littell, 40 2/3 innings pitched here through 7 starts over his past 45 days. Got to go to ERA, Joe, 2.88. XFIP is higher at 4.39. Shota Imanaga, he has 7 starts here over the past 45 days, 38 1/3 innings pitched. And if we line him up, that's a 3.76 ERA, which isn't bad, but a 4.49 XFIP number. The XFIP numbers are higher. The wind is blowing in. We'll see what happens at that point. Really, how many fly balls you're going to give up? How many strikeouts can you get today? I just don't know if I like the Cubs at that high of a price, even though they are better than the Cincinnati Reds. We'll certainly see how that plays out. But Imanaga needs to be that stopper tonight. They need to pick up a victory. They can't let the Brewers get another victory over the Braves, which we'll take a look at. And more importantly, them to just take a loss themselves for the Chicago Cubs. Late night action, Los Angeles Dodgers don't seem to be as powerful as what we thought they would be, Joe, here in 2025. Michaelis will be on the mound here for the Cardinals going up against the Dodgers and Sheehan. 9:59, 9:60 on the rotation, a 10-10 start. This favorite overnight, right around that minus 200 price point, it's coming down. You see the graphic about to pop on the screen at a minus 190 price. Other outlets as low as a minus 180, a total of 9 across the board. Well, it's tough just to say, like, yeah, it's the Dodgers at home and I'll take them. Just not playing that dominant baseball as we maybe anticipated right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, the good news, Dodgers got Max Muncy back from the IL last night, so that's good. But what a game that was. I didn't see last night at all Sonny Gray being able to go toe-to-toe with Glass now. And then, the Cardinals end up getting it done in the top of the 9th there with a 2-out pinch hit single, which is what the difference in the game was. I think that turns around in this one here. Bullpen is in good shape for the Dodgers in this one. Glasnow went 7 last night. I do think the bats get back on track here. I would probably lay the run in this one with the Dodgers. -1, not the 1.5, but -1 here because I think the bats come alive against Mikolas.
Yeah, we take a look too at Emmett Sheehan on the mound. Does struggle a little bit with lefties. That's the point of attack I'd probably would go with here. Not a strikeout pitcher, not a ground ball pitcher, which means the ball will be in the air. Alec Burleson as a lefty has really done well over the past month here, Joe, against right-handed pitching to the tune of a 220 ISO and a 360 weighted on base percentage. Also, Lars Nootbaar, only 18 at-bats against righties over the past month, but a 333 ISO and a 384 weighted on base percentage. We'll see if that goes over. But again, Dodgers bats, everybody should hit Miles Mikolas at this point. Everybody. We just don't know if that's the case. And also, is it just the fact that, okay, the Dodgers win, they only go as far as Ohtani takes them, RBI shot, double, home run, whatever it might be for Shohei tonight in that circumstance? We'll find out. But the Dodgers, for me, haven't been on my card all that much, Joe. Money line, run line, even some batters props here. I just need to see better out of the Dodgers, and maybe that starts tonight against Miles Mikolas. New York Mets and the Cleveland Guardians. That's Allen, the lefty on the mound, going up against the right-handed pitcher Clay Holmes for the Mets. 977, 978 on the rotation. A 7-10 start tonight. Heavy favorite for the Mets. -174 price, but that has dropped from the overnight numbers here to the -160s and even into the -150s at this point at some outlets. An 8.5 total. The Philadelphia Phillies won last night. The Mets lost. That stretches the Phillies' lead to 1.5 games over the Mets. Do they bounce back tonight against those Guardians?
Well, maybe, but the problem is, again, we've got a Clay Holmes, a reliever who has thrown more innings so far this year as a starter than he has thrown in the last couple of seasons. I worry about fatigue here with him. And not to mention, I mean, listen, Allen is not exactly a guy that is going to move the needle, but he's a lefty, and the Mets can't hit lefties right now. So I think the Guardians, the way they're swinging the bat right now with Ramirez, I think they got an advantage early in this one. Don't trust the Mets against the lefty. I'm going to go with the Guardians in the first 5 in this one.
There you go. And if you want the Guardians full game here, it looks like high price is +143, +138 in that range here. Clay Holmes, as you pointed out, Joe, 25th on the card today with an xFIP of 4.72, leaking a little bit. 34 and a third innings pitched over his past 45 days. That's a 4.46 ERA, and as we just said, a 4.72 xFIP number, slightly higher here. If we take a look at the other pitcher, Logan Allen, not a great pitcher, but 42 and a third innings pitched over his last 45 days, Joe, 3.83 ERA, which is better, obviously, here than we just talked about Clay Holmes, and also an xFIP that is slightly better at a 4.05. Pressure's on as we start to build up because you can't let games get away, which means that, it's still March and April and May. These games in August, where you now sit 1.5, then the 2.5, then 3.5 games back, hard to make up. As we talk about the Chicago Cubs there, trying to lose games to the Cincinnati Reds. Can't do that when the Milwaukee Brewers are pounding teams right now, which includes last night's game against the Atlanta Braves or the Philadelphia Phillies, who won last night in easy fashion against the Baltimore Orioles. Every loss now really starts to compound as we head down the stretch. There's going to be more games that we're going to take a look at and have some fun with, which includes Kansas City and Boston. I'm telling you, Joe, I like that Boston lineup a lot. And then the Chicago White Sox out in Seattle. We'll see if Cal Raleigh can certainly right the ship. So a lot more Major League Baseball on deck. And also, Kevin Walsh going to make an appearance here bright and early on a Tuesday morning right here on the early line. It's where it goes down. Third base isn't the hot corner. The hot corner is the early line with Joe Ranieri and Donnie right side right back at it. Ain't no stopping us now. Do they play that after every Boston Red Sox game now? That seems like they win every game. Joe Ranieri, winners of 6 straight games at home once again tonight to take on the Kansas City Royals. It's Burgett versus Crochet, the left-handed pitcher for the Red Sox. 963, 964 the rotation. 7-10 start tonight from Fenway. Look at this price point, Joe. Overnight, -255. We now still sit -250s out there, depending on which sports book that you're looking at now. 8.5 has dropped to 8s here. Is this another easy victory for the Boston Red Sox as we see it priced that way?
Yeah, well, if it's too good to be true, right, Donnie? Sometimes you got to take a step back here. Listen, I am not laying that kind of number here. Kansas City has actually played pretty good baseball here since coming out of the break. Crochet is good. It's the bullpen that worries me here a little bit. I'm shocked that the number is going down with the total, though, Donnie. From 8.5 to 8 is what you're telling me here. I'll follow that trend, though, because I think runs might be a little harder to come by early in this one. So I'll cut the game in half, and I'll go under in the first 5.
Yeah, they dropped yesterday 5 runs in the first inning, which I love. They even went to Bet365 and got a boosted 3
Mm.
leg parlay yesterday from this game, which hit easily here. That lineup looks great, Joe, on a day-to-day basis. Like, who would have thought, like, oh, yeah, we're going to get rid of Rafael Devers, one of the better hitters in baseball, and we're going to be just fine. They look just fine right now. Garrett Crochet is my number 1 pitcher on the card today with XFIP, Joe. His last 6 starts equated to 5 victories and no losses. 39 innings pitched over the past 45 days, an ERA of 2.31, and a sparkling XFIP of 2.43, Joe. Big number, though, as you're right for the Red Sox at this point, but also the question is asked. When you have a streak, it is hard to fade it, but it sounds like you might be fading it tonight.
I'm looking to. I think we're going to get a little bit more pitching here, a little less over the top home runs all over the place. So yeah, fewer runs for me here tonight.
Oh, I like where you're going on fewer runs, Joe, because we're going to go to the Pacific Northwest, where we're used to fewer runs, and hint, hint, we might be getting fewer runs in this ball game. 967, 968, a 940 start out west. That's the Chicago White Sox taking on the Seattle Mariners. Martin on the mound, the right-handed pitcher for the White Sox, going up against Mr. Brian Wu, another right-handed pitcher for the Seattle M's. Minus 250 as a price point overnight. Still sits, Joe. Minus 250. Monster favorites we're talking about now, and a total of 7.5. What are the thought processes here in the Pacific Northwest at T-Mobile? Ball stays in the yard, ball goes out of the yard. Monster favorite, monster dog. Who is it?
Don, I've been saying, right, the White Sox quietly have become a pretty good team as a dog to back. They've been playing some great baseball, and not just recently. I mean, this is going back over the last month. They have actually been playing really good. They're hitting. They've got absolutely no pressure. They've already won more games than they did a year ago. But having said that, do I think they're going to rough up Brian Wu? The answer is absolutely not. I do think here that Seattle is going to get back on track. I'm not going to go lay this number, but I can tell you this. I think the White Sox team total might be worth a look to the under here today. I think runs are going to be hard to come by for the White Sox.
You know, Joe brought up a good topic here because we always talk the haves and the have-nots, which is always my terminology coming around that trade deadline where it's like, okay, this team's not trying to win games. Don't worry about the side itself. And by the way, the White Sox have been playing much better baseball. But I've used in the past couple of days, Joe, multiple White Sox games as a team total because the numbers are there. Understand this. These players get paid based on their statistics, not the wins that they provide for the team. So if everybody's hitting and they're still losing, the players don't care.
Yep.
They're going to get paid for that. They're going to have their best performances at the plate each and every night. So even when you see those minus 250 prices, I don't know if I could take the White Sox. I'm telling you, when they're taking on bad pitchers, those guys will hit, and they've been doing that. Now, tonight, Brian Wu's 43 and 2/3 innings pitched over the past 45 days, a 3 ERA, which is really good, a 340 xFIP number, which is great. But most people haven't heard anything about who's this Davis Martin kid. 10 innings pitched over the past 45 days, which isn't a lot. His ERA is slightly higher, but at 3.76. Like, he should be able to hold the bats down. Also, sometimes, Joe, isn't it just park indicative of where you're at? We're not at Wrigley with the wind blowing out 20 miles per hour. It's hard to hit the ball out of the yard there in T-Mobile. I think the under makes a lot of sense as well. But you're right. High price though, Joe, on that number tonight. Oof.
Too high a price for such a low total in a game at a pitcher's ballpark. And let's face it, we haven't exactly seen Seattle outside of the break. Their best hitter, we mentioned it, Cal Raleigh, struggling a little bit right now. I'd be careful laying that kind of number.
World Series is always the goal in Major League Baseball. Teams make moves at the trade deadline to ramp up for that postseason. Kevin Walsh is here with us this morning, along with Joe Ranieri, and I'm having fun with this topic because the Yankees, they loaded up their bullpen. It looks like they made it actually worse in the past couple of days, if that's possible. But the savior is coming back tonight, and also the MVP candidate who was a favorite of minus 20,000, who was an underdog price, now a favorite to win it once again. That's Aaron Judge, because Cal Raleigh can't hit his way right now out of a paper bag. But I need the encapsulation right now of the New York Yankees. What's the deal? When do they break out of it? When's Boone gone? What changes are being made? Because it can't stay the same, Kevin, or can it?
No, it can't. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. You have Aaron Judge, who is arguably the best player in Major League Baseball. Who is the second best hitter on this team? Is it Stanton for postseason pedigree? Is it Jazz Chisholm, who half the fan base once benched and ran out of town? Like, they didn't add a star in any capacity for that lineup. The idea was we've attacked the bullpen, which is why Aaron Boone keeps running out a closer with a 5 ERA who lost the job and only got it back because of other injuries that took place. They're in third place in the division. They nearly have top 3 odds to win a World Series. Who's betting that? Who is possibly betting the New York Yankees at these numbers? If you doubled the price, I'd be interested. I probably still wouldn't make the bet. What's their case for? Every single Yankees case is basically, but they have Aaron Judge. And unfortunately for Big 99, when the postseason starts, that's not as simple of a case to make. So the Yankees odds, again, would need to double for me to even take them somewhat serious.
Oof.
Does it make more sense to bet them not to make the postseason, Kev, at this point? What are we thinking?
Well, so they're now deep in this wild card race. Seattle is set up, I think, to go on a nice little run here because the pitching is for the most part healthy. And, we've all been waiting for, the Mariners pitching to lead to a ton of success. And I think that they were being, in being so aggressive at the deadline, they're set up to actually connect on that. So you have this Rangers team whose offense is totally uninspiring. Adolis Garcia was probably a one-time thing. Marcus Semien looks very washed. Corey Seager's, little up and down. Wyatt Langford not ready. And yet, the Rangers, if they finish off this series against the Yankees, I believe will supplant them for the third wild card spot in the American League. So, I don't think the Blue Jays are all that good, quite frankly. I think the Blue Jays are fraudulent, and I know that could be sacrilegious to say in some corners of this network. But the Blue Jays probably should have better World Series odds than the Yankees because the Blue Jays are definitely going to the postseason where you have this situation with the Yankees. Judge coming back doesn't mean he's going to come back and be, hitting 340 and a home run every other game. He's injured. So I don't think it's a guarantee that Judge is going to be fantastic right away.
Certain sports books expecting him to be fantastic. Probably in his first at bat going yard tonight, welcoming himself back. But also, if we do look at the MVP markets, I'm going to tip on the National League in just a few moments because what Schwarber is doing the past couple nights and what his impact is in this race, certainly we'll talk about. But our focus is on Aaron Judge, who again, Kevin, the minus 20,000s to the plus money numbers to now minus 280 as he's creeping up even higher today. I always thought it was going to be Ohtani and Judge and the price points of, hey, Judge on the IL. Joe and I talked about this ad nauseum the past week and a half. Wait a second. He's on the IL. He's going to be healthy and coming back. Now you're getting a plus money number based on a minus 220,000 that was there previous just weeks before. Aaron Judge at minus 280. I still think he's the MVP. I always thought he was the MVP unless that elbow injury would have a Tommy John and he's down for the year.
Yeah, I just think at this point, Donnie, right? If you were able to get in at the plus 120, plus 125 that existed for a day, great. But at this point, what are we doing now, right? Because now you go back to a little bit of the uncertainty of it all. Judge, I feel didn't even want to go on the IL. He's just let me hit. And the Yankees are no. So again, either they're awfully ran, certainly on the board, or they're a little bit more concerned about the elbow than everyone else, right? Judge plays today. Is it a guarantee he plays the next game? I don't think it's likely, but I just think we are in a little bit of a wait and see mode. Now, we'll say this. If Judge connects on that home run price, he's going to go to about minus 500 to an MVP because that's the way they move these odds on one game instances.
It's so funny because he was actually playing great defense too before the injury, and now it's going to be a whirlwind out in right field. And ironically enough, it has nothing to do with why they've been losing these games. It's not because he's not in the lineup, Donnie. It's because they can't catch and field the ball, and the bullpen is horrific here. But it's the Yankees. It's do or die. I don't blame Boone. Do you? Does Boone have to go?
So I've given Boone more grace, I think, than other, Yankee fans. But this season's been pretty bad. I don't know. Again, the whole deadline, every Yankees podcast, what a deadline. Wow. They finally stepped up. The bullpen arms they added. And now they just keep blowing saves. It's a bit. It's the whole thing feels like an absolute joke. So I don't is it not Aaron Boone's decision as to who goes out and closes the game? Because again, if not, then why not just change the vibes and let someone else do it? If he's making no decisions, I don't know, then just go let Joe Torre stand back there. Honestly, what are we doing?
Go Joe Torre. Look, they never should have knocked down the old stadium. That's where it all stems from at this point now. Go back to the old stadium, rebuild
Did they win the World
maybe
Series their first season in the new stadium?
No, it was a fake one. It was a fake one. A-Rod was all juiced up. Never should have happened. And they beat the Philadelphia Phillies, which never should have happened. Cliff Lee on the mound. Should have had Roy Halladay in town to help on that one. But that's for here nor there. How about the Cubs? The Cubs won a World Series a few short years ago, it seems like right now, breaking that curse. Looks like they're cursed right now. Why? Because the Brewers have just a better baseball club right now. What's the thought process quickly on the Cubs the rest of the way? Are they biting back? Do they take over the Brew Crew?
Donnie, I know we rarely look at baseball schedules, but
yes,
5 games left between the Cubs and the Brewers, all at Wrigley Field. I still think Chicago wins that division.
The Cubbies for the division. The cream rises to the top. That's what Kevin's saying. He's got to get prepared for GTD in just a few hours, I believe. Start time 6:30. Thank you, Kevin, for joining us today. What an action-packed show right here on the early line for a Tuesday. It's how we get down, people. It's a big Major League Baseball card. We're looking forward to having fun with that and also, more importantly, profiting of it as well. We're going to go over some picks in just a few moments. But before we do that, the changing of the sports landscape, Joe, on a night-to-night basis, sometimes we see big movement, sometimes we don't. The MVP market seemed like they were settled in a month ago. Oh, it's Ohtani? Yeah, it's easy. And it's also Aaron Judge. Not the case now. Aaron Judge, a minus 280 price here over Cal Raleigh. But in the National League, Kyle Schwarber, 2 home runs last night, 40th of the year. One of them was a grand slam, 6 RBI. I still think Shohei Ohtani is going to win the MVP in the National League. But Schwarber last night was an 11-1 price. Currently, right now, he's plus 440. He is storming up that leaderboard here, passing Pete Crow Armstrong now.
Hard to ignore what he is doing here, but it just feels like as long as Ohtani maintains and continues to do what he's doing, he is going to be really hard. At some point, we're going to get Ohtani fatigue. Maybe it starts next year, but Schwarber's going to have to keep the pressure on here if we're going to have any chance of him actually taking down that award.
Yeah, it's crazy because, again, Ohtani just needs 1 week, Joe. 2 home runs, 4 innings pitched on the mound, and away he goes. He's still a heavy price at minus 550. And we talk about, how can you surpass? For us with Cal Raleigh, he's got to hit 65 home runs and Judge hits 55. Same thing with Schwarber. Schwarber's got 40 bombs. He'd probably get into the 60s to have a chance to knock off Ohtani because of how much he has in that lead and certainly the expectations. But certainly fun to watch, no doubt about it. You know what else is more fun even, Joe? Picking winners, baby. Bye. I don't think Ranieri's lost the entire summer here on his Major League Baseball action wagers. That's why we let him lead off. So another victory last night with the Milwaukee Brewers' first 5 innings over the Atlanta Braves. And now we take a look at today's action, Joe. Where are we going on this Major League Baseball card?
Well, you can always go back to the Brewers, it feels like, with Peralta going on the mound, but I'm going to avoid doing that here, Donnie. Instead, I am going to go out west to Arizona, and I'm going to look at a total here tonight. I'm going to back the under 9 with the Padres and the Diamondbacks. Yu Darvish really starting to round into form here. He's kind of shaken off the rust. His command seems to be back. Great last outing there. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts. He's really starting to come into it. Not to mention, the Padres didn't have to use any of their elite back-end arms last night, the 6-2 loss. So Mason Miller is available. Suarez is Miller. That bullpen is absolutely elite. And then you've got Nelson going here, who has also been much better at home than on the road. And you still have an Arizona lineup without, Suarez and Naylor, and not against Yu Darvish. I don't think runs are coming in this game tonight. I think both offenses are going to struggle. I'll take the under 9. Would not shock me if this thing lands 8.5 by the time the game starts.
Takes 10 to beat you. It means Joe needs double-digit runs to lose that one. I'm also going to follow up with an under as well. Pacific Northwest hinted at this a few segments ago. Chicago White Sox and the Seattle Mariners at T-Mobile. I look at Woo, really good pitcher. I look on the opposite side. Martin can be a decent pitcher to hold it down. 5-2 final. Mariners, they walk away with an easy victory. Still stays under the total. So for me, I'm going under. Pacific Northwest action. Chicago White Sox, Seattle Mariners under 7.5 at a -120 price. That's where we have that.